What's the word, YouTube? It's Sierra Celeste back with another video. Girls like it tough, don't you waste it, girl, roll it up. Tough to hate us, can't get enough. Welcome to the Bad Girls Club. Bad girl. And we back. Hey. So we are back with another video, and we are back with another story time for you. Alrighty, so you know the vibes. Follow me on Instagram, Sierra.Celeste. Follow me on Twitter, Sierra Celeste. Two, baby, you already know the vibes. Period. But this is gonna be another roommate story time, and I'm trying to keep my voice low because I still live with this person, but it's gonna be another roommate story time. It's just basically going to be about this time that my roommates fell in love with me. This low-key got kind of crazy. So when I first moved here, it was me and then it was two guys in the back, and they was really chill. They didn't really speak to nobody for real, so it was no problems. Then as the months went on, more people start moving in and more guys start moving in, so it's all guys and then it's basically just me. So of course I'm a baddie, so I just got used to guys hitting on me. It was just very much normal. We're just gonna call him Crazy. We just gonna call him Crazy. So I moved in August, and then Crazy moved in September. When he moved in, it was really good vibes. Honestly, I wasn't working at the time. I low-key feel like he's a scammer, but that's neither here or there. But I don't know what he did, but I know he used to plug me all the time. So we used to smoke together. We used to get high together. And then we just started, when you get high with someone, you just start having conversations, really deep conversations, And so we would talk on a regular basis. I would basically link with this dude every night, since he literally, my room is here, his room is here. We literally live right next to each other, so it really wasn't a problem. So as we the first week of me knowing him, he tells me he has a girlfriend. So I was just okay, whatever. I wasn't coming on to him or anything like that. I never tried him or anything like that. But he just mentioned oh, his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. So I was okay, cool. So then I just felt good, he was never gonna try me or anything like that. And then I remember we having a conversation, I was telling him about dudes and how they always just want sex and blah blah blah. And he just really made it out his way to let me know that he is not that type of dude, that he does not just want sex from girls, blah blah blah. He put on that portray I'm not like these other niggas. He really did that. And when a nigga makes it seem he is not like these other niggas, he is worse than the other niggas. The second week of me knowing him, I end up, it's Juve weekend, we lit, we outside drinking, I'm lit, I come home, he's oh, Sierra, you want to smoke? I said, sure. So we would always just smoke in my room. I don't have no problem with smoking in my room. And so we just smoke together, and I'm actually pretty much drunk at this point. So I just remember, him coming over by me, and he tried to whisper something in my ear. So then he goes and whispers in my ear, and he tells me that I broke his no nut streak. And so I remember when he told me that, and I was lit at the moment, so I was just okay. But then I remember thinking about it the next day, so that means that you was in your room, to me, that was one major red flag. Number one. Red flag number two was we had only been knowing each other for 2 weeks, right? And he told me that when he first saw me, he knew he was gonna fall in love with me. When he first saw me, he knew he was gonna fall in love with me. I forgot to mention this, but the first week of me knowing him, we were like smoking in my room, and this is after we had the conversation about all guys just want to have sex, blah blah blah. And he was in my room, and it was pretty late. I'm not gonna hold you. It's We were smoking for a minute, listening to music, and it's probably at this point about 3 a.m. So I'm just laying on my bed. I start to get tired, and then he asked if he can sit in my chair. So I'm like, sure, I don't care. So then maybe about like 10 minutes later, he asked if he can sit on my bed. So I'm in one corner, he's on the other corner. So I'm like, sure, I don't care, whatever. So then he sits on my bed, and I notice he starts to get a little comfortable, whatever, cool vibes, I don't care. But then maybe like a few minutes later, he asked me if he can turn the lights off. And I was just like, nah, this is where you gotta go. Like, it's time for you to go. So I just made up some excuse. I was like, you know what? I'm starting to get a little tired, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, okay, okay, okay. And he starts getting his stuff, and he goes. And the next day, he ends up apologizing to me, basically like letting me know he messed up the vibes, blah blah blah. And I don't care, because I'm used to guys like wanting, like, I'm used to guys trying to hit on me, blah blah. I don't care. But then he ends up trying to, like, a few weeks later, trying to basically tell me that's not what he was on, that's not what he was trying to do. So I'm just like, if you wasn't on that type of timing, why you couldn't just go to your room? Like, like, he's like, oh, I just wanted to vibe with the lights off, listen to music. I'm like, nigga, you literally live next door. Like, if you just want to vibe with the lights off, go to your room. We only knew each other like 2 weeks. So I'm like, what do you mean you falling in love with me? And then he starts to like go into detail a little bit more. And then low key, I dub it. I just changed the conversation, whatever. And I'm not gonna hold you. In the beginning, I kept messing with him like as a like friendship. Like, I kind of low key started to feel like I was using him, and that's why I had to like kind of like dead it, because he would do things like he would go to the deli and ask me did I want anything. He would buy it for me. He would buy me food. He would always plug me with, like, so I kind of started to feel like I was using him, because I like a low key feel like I low key could tell that he has some type of feelings for me, and I did not feel that same way towards him. And it wasn't even, for one, I don't get with my roommates. Anybody that lives in my apartment, I'm not gonna even entertain a relationship with you, because just in case we fall out, because 9 times out of 10 we will fall out. It's just gonna be weird. And then for two, you have a girlfriend, so yeah, it just wasn't gonna work out regardless. As time went on, it was starting to become more of like an obsession. I think he was starting to knock on my door more. He was starting to like hit me up on my DMs, like start really saying I love you more. Like, not just a like I love you as a friend, like I love you, I will always love you, I care for you, like really things like that. And I will always dub it. I will always tell him like, hey, can you stop saying that, can you stop saying that, whatever. So I'm talking to one of my other roommates, kind of like trying to get like, what should I do about this situation? Because I don't want to be mean, but also like we literally live in the same apartment, So he's like, Sia, you might as well invite another nigga over and let him know that, you not, like, you on to somebody else. So I said, I bet. So I called one of my little niggas over. And he ended up, dude ended up coming over. He ended up spending, no, he didn't spend the night. He came over Friday and then he left, and then he came over Saturday and then he left too. And that made it worse. That made it worse. After the dude I was messing with at the time, after he left, I ended up having a conversation with Crazy, and basically just asked him like, hey, when I tell you to stop saying I love you, like, why do you continue to do it? And we basically just got into this big argument, and he just told me that, he told me that I don't say it stern enough. Like, he don't think I really mean it. Even though he tells me he's gonna stop doing it, he still does it, so he doesn't really think that I actually mean it. He was trying to tell me like, next time you need to actually say, like, basically say it with your chest, and I'm just like, nigga, no. If I'm telling you over and over and over to stop saying I love you, then stop saying I love you. Like that's really end of it. And then so then that's when I realized this nigga is crazy. Like it's simple. Like I'm telling you, stop saying I love you. That's it. You shouldn't even try to like argue with me. And he talking about, oh well, I have feelings. No feelings. Like it's not gonna happen, baby. It's just you making it more complicated than what it was. So after that argument happened, we didn't talk for like a few weeks, and like I would notice that like when when my other roommates is around, like they're all dudes. So you know how dudes are. When my other roommates is around, he would never act like that. He don't act like obsessed, crazy over me, whatever. But when it's just me and him, he always acts so different. And I say this because one time I had went down to the other like first floor, and they have like a little patio or whatever. We was all smoking, chopping it up, you know, good vibes, whatever. Low key as the time went on, everybody starts to leave. So then everybody starts to leave and it's just me and him. So then he wanna like kind of pull me to the side and have a conversation and like basically talk about his feelings and stuff. And I knew that was gonna happen. As soon as everybody started leaving, I knew he was gonna start doing that. Start talking about his feelings, and basically he thought I was mad at him and blah blah blah. I'm just like, I'm not mad at you. It's just like when I tell you to stop doing something, like just stop doing it. Like it's just that simple. And then so he would always also do this thing where he would call me best friend all the time. He would say I love you all the time. And like even after we had that conversation, he was still doing it. So basically after that conversation we had in the patio, I said, I don't think you're a genuine person. And the reason why I say this is because I saw how he acted with my other roommates. He got into a fight with them too. And I know a narcissist when I see one, and I'm telling him like the way you try to like love bomb me, like you're giving narcissistic behavior, like so I just don't feel like you're genuine. And he said yes, yeah, I'm not genuine, and I was like, wait, what? Like you dead ass right now? Like you know you're not a genuine person, and you're still like. All right, so from that conversation, I knew I was not gonna mess with him after that. So maybe like a few days later, I talked to my friends about it, whatever, and they was like, yeah, please stay away from him, blah, blah, blah. So I was using his speaker at the time. I put his speaker by the door. Then I went in my room, and then so maybe a couple hours later when he got home, he had DM'd me like, hey, why you giving my speaker back? And I just let him know, like, I would like to like end this friendship, like, I just don't want anything to do with you anymore, blah, blah, blah. And if you want us to come in my room, we could talk about it. So literally as soon as I sent that, he's knocking on my door. So he comes in my room and he's like pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's like, you know, Sierra, I know why you don't want to fuck with me. I understand. I've been told you to cut me off, blah, blah, blah. And he just talking a mile a minute. So I'm listening to him, but then I'm just like, you know what? Let me intervene. And I basically tell him that I do not want to, you know, have any type of friendship, any situation, nothing with him. And I tell him why, A, B, and C, what he did, everything, whatever. So then after I say that, he's like, okay. And then he's like, so do you want to smoke this backwood with me and the homies? I was just like, bro, like, didn't I just tell you I don't want nothing to do with you? Like, what are you doing? You know? And I said, go. I said, just leave. So then he leaves, and then he DMs me when he leaves, and he's like, did I leave my vape in your room? And then he's like, oh, but you can keep the speaker, blah, blah, blah. So I block him. When I block him, then after that, he didn't speak to me. We didn't speak to each other for like weeks, and I was fine. And it would be little things that he would slowly try to come back. So maybe like 2 weeks went by, we didn't speak. Then he slowly would be like, excuse me, or he would be like, can you get this for me? Like little things, whatever. And if I would respond, he would think I'm that cool with him, and he will always try me. He would always try to start a conversation with me. I would ignore him, and I'm talking about ignore him, act like walk right past him like he wasn't even there. And he would kept doing this for like a while, and then he finally just stopped. So I was like, cool. Good vibes. So fast forward to about Christmas break comes, and you know everybody starts moving out or whatever. So then it's just me, Crazy, and one other roommate in the back. But that other roommate, he literally stays in his room all the time and stays to himself. So it's basically just like me and Crazy that live there. So I just started to notice that he started talking to me more. Like he went from not talking to me for months to start talking to me more. And I'm just like, what? Like, you know? And it went from like not talking to me to starting arguments for me. Like little things, like over the littlest things would start arguments for me. And I'm talking on an everyday basis for like a week straight. So I got to the point, I got fed up because I ended up blacking on him a couple times. Like, stop talking to me. Like, I literally like had to really black on this nigga, like for real. So then I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done playing nice guy. I'm done. You really pushed me to my limits. So I reached out to my landlord and I wrote this long email and told them everything. Then I basically like wrote like a report, made a file, a claim on him or whatever, you know. And I let them know everything too. And ever since then, he has not been bothering me. And you know, I've been living you know, just been doing me or whatever. But I remember, like, while everything was happening, I was putting everything on my close friends and niggas on my stories like, you want me to beat him up or you want me to beat him up? Like, whatever. Like, because he was really bothering me. Like, it used to really bother me because at first, it was went from like, oh, we're good friends to like, oh, I'm in love with you to like, oh, I'm obsessed with you to like, I can't leave you alone. Like it just kept progressing. And then I'm the only woman that lives here. So I kind of felt really alone because like I would tell my other roommates and they would just be like they're guys. So they're very like nonchalant. So they would kind of just like, they wouldn't even say anything. Like they would see him bother me too. And they just wouldn't even like, they wouldn't even say anything. And I don't know if it's just that they didn't know what to do or they just like, it wasn't them, so they didn't know what to say, or I don't know what it was. But yeah, that whole situation was just so crazy to me. And I was gonna wait to put out this video because I'm not gonna hold y'all, like he dead stayed right there. Like literally right there. I was messing with this one dude and he was really like protective, like overprotective. Like one time I was in the kitchen because he knew the whole story. Like he watched my close friends and stuff, and I was in the kitchen and I was making us like drinks and stuff, and he knew my roommate was in there, and my roommate had like dropped something. He like screamed. My roommate is weird. Like he always makes these random noises or whatever. So crazy. He dropped something. He like made this really like loud scream. So the dude I'm messing with, he's like, "You good, Sierra?" And I was so weak. I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. You know." That's why y'all gotta get a hood nigga. That's why y'all gotta get a hood nigga. Because before him I was messing, this is a side story, but before him I was messing with this other dude and he knew the whole story too. And he was just like, he just told me call the cops. Like that's what he just told me call the cops. And I was just like, where are the hood niggas? But yeah, that's the end of the story. So if you like that story time, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Sierra.Celeste. Follow me on Twitter, Sierra Celeste. 2 baby, you know the vibes. Period.